There's a basing concept. And again, it's all how do we open the air routes to get logistics flowing to the people who need them. So to test those plans, we conducted Cascadia Rising back in June of last year. Approximately 20,000 people participated in it. It had a number of national or linkage to national level exercises. Those were our focus areas. We didn't want to try and take the whole gamut of preparedness, but taking a look at those core capabilities, and then we have the after action report finalized and ready for release. I want to talk just really briefly about the strategic top-level observations we had, and probably the biggest overarching thing that came out of the exercise. It was something that we'd already seen, but it just hammered home that the system of ordering resources that we talked about earlier just isn't going to work. The needs are going to be so immediate, they're going to be so overwhelming, the response is going to be so overwhelmed that we're not going to have time for the first responders who are in the middle of trying to dig people out of houses, get power back on, generators into hospitals and police stations. They're not going to have time to just identify and then start asking up the chain for resources over communications network that's just not going to be there. So we have to take a fundamentally different approach to a catastrophic type of event, in that we need to turn that system entirely upside down and transition from a pull system of logistics to a push system of logistics. And what that means is all of us going community by community, tribe by tribe, city by city, county by county across Western Washington, identifying what the needs are going to be. So what is it you're going to need? Is it food, water? Is it medical supplies? Is it communication stuff? What is it? And then build a plan to figure out how to get that stuff off of a largely compromised transportation infrastructure out to the communities that need it. And that is the planning effort that we need to engage in across Western Washington. It is all inclusive. It's not state emergency management doing it. It's not state government doing it. It's all of us partnering together to figure out how to meet those immediate needs of the people. And then we've got to do it against a ticking clock. We've probably only got about 3 days before we're going to start seeing significant humanitarian pressures from the people who are without food, without water. Some people will have prepared, some won't. Those people who haven't prepared are going to need food and water very, very quickly. We've got to figure out how to do it. And if we can't show that we've got a response going, commodities flowing into communities, first responders there, people from outside the community showing up saying, hi, we're here to help, we're going to have some significant pressures here internally within Washington. I talked about detailed planning. It's not the top level, hey, we're going to just get this road open. It's got to be right down to, this needs to be on the first airplane coming into McCord Field. This needs to be on the first airplane coming into Everett Field. And then how are we going to get this off of the airplanes and out into the communities that need it? And it's really, truly a multi-year, very heavy lift to do that level of planning. The transportation infrastructure is absolutely key. If we don't have roads open, if we can't open airfields very, very quickly, we don't have a response. And so we've got a plan for how we get that infrastructure open. We need communications. We've got to be able to talk to each other across the communities, across the disciplines to be able to mount that response. If we can't talk, the response again is going to be compromised. So we've got a plan for survivable public safety communications. Tremendous implications to public preparedness. Our state message going into the exercise was 3 days. We've shifted it since to people need to prepare for 14 days. And in some of the isolated communities, even 14 days may not be enough.